Really, I'm hood rich. I'm really a star. I can't wait to be famous. 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 Really, I'm hood rich. I'm really a star. I can't wait to be famous.
Really, I'm haunted. I'm haunted by hundreds.
Let's keep it 100. You got. What up, though? It's your boy Common Sense, man. And we already know that common sense isn't common. Alright, so today, man, we had a Breakfast Club interviewing 19 Keys. Now, for the people that don't know 19 Keys, man, he's the host of the High Level Conversation podcast. And he's the new era Malcolm X or Martin Luther King. I don't know what they call those type of guys. A revolutionary individual, very intelligent guy. Every time I see 19 Keys on these type of platforms, man, it excites me because I know it's going to be some type of conversation on here that I can bring to my peoples. And I say this type of platform because I also know that a lot of black folks are hearing the message because the Breakfast Club is an urban radio station. Now, y'all know how I do, man. I bring y'all the conversations that I feel like you guys need to hear. And so this is one that I feel like you guys need to hear. In this conversation, man, 19 Keys speaks about a potential app. He didn't use the word app, but I'm calling it an app. A potential app that I feel like black folks can get behind as a whole, invest in it, and we can benefit from this shit in a financial way, and we can have the whole world using it because to me it's that valuable. I'm your boy Common Sense. Like the video because liking the video is more important to the YouTube algorithm these days. Subscribe to the boy if you feeling the content. It's a reaction. Let's go.
A meme is the easy way to connect people, right? It's like during the times where white people literacy rates were so low that they would utilize propaganda cartoons to get them to hate black people because they couldn't read the newspapers. It's the same thing with memes today. They go at the low-hanging fruit. So in the algorithm, if you're constantly stuck on X and Instagram and YouTube and things of that nature, then that means that you're in a net of control, right? The only way to get out of it is to have your own sovereignty where you produce your own and you focus on creating and less consuming. But as long as we're consuming, there's nothing we can do against white supremacy.
Well, I think the biggest thing, especially when you talk about social media, is, I don't know percentage-wise, but the majority of the stuff online is false, right?
Yeah, it's fake as well.
And then you got people who are spreading this fake news as it's real. And the problem with that is, you and I both know, once they start making money off of it because they are quote-unquote creator,
yeah,
they continue because now they don't care about the community. They don't care about the truth. They care about the bottom line, which is for them, their dollar sign.
Yeah.
So they'll continue this and they'll be a quote unquote creator and a quote unquote loudmouth and they'll continue on. And the problem is we don't have no checks and balances of what's right and what's wrong. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times we look online and you see the news report something that's fake. Right. So it's like, well, how do you get these checks and balances, especially for our community?
I think you got to create programs for it, like AI algorithms. And I think that that's one of the opportunities. Anytime we got a problem, it's an opportunity for a business, right? That can be a AI tool. They try to do the fact checking things. The problem with that is the bias of the people behind them. It's your version of history that you consider to be correct. And so instead, we have to take those same blueprint and models and have our own. I look at it right now, like I would take a lot of my old work and I would put it into AI and I would ask, what is the accuracy of these predictions? I would look at stuff that I predicted from 5 to 10 years ago. And it would tell me whether these things came true at 80 or 90% accuracy or not. And I look at creating a program to where you can look at it, it's like a Yelp rating, right? It shouldn't be an expert that can just pop up today. You should be able to have a lineage of work that you've done that validates your expertise in a subject. And nowadays we have AI that can go run a program and look, Charlemagne been 90% right about media, right? Or economic and micro and macro trends. So maybe you should listen to him. Social media should now come with these type of verification checks to see who's actually been accurate. So as you're trying to cut through the noise, you say, you know what? I'm gonna listen to Envy on this because Envy is verified in this particular category, especially as we're getting away from a lot of degree-based skills. So I think that for me, those who are developers and AI engineers and those who have social media platforms should be thinking about creating systems like that to where you can verify people's influence over time.
What if somebody's new though in influence? Like, how do you?
All right, stop. Pause. Not in the Cameron way, neither. Listen, man, what this man is describing is a problem that this world is facing. And just like he said, anytime it's a problem, there's opportunity for something to be created. And this is the opportunity for something to be created that I feel like black folks can get behind. And we actually own a wonderful asset that the whole world can use. Every race can use. Because we know in this world that we live in, it's a lot of fake news that's going on. The last thing that I can think about that went viral, that a lot of folks was getting behind and it was turned out to be fake news, was the Donald Trump law that was supposed to help black fathers that pay child support to be able to claim their child on their taxes. And the mother couldn't. Turn out it was fake news. Turn out the TikTok influencer started a rumor. The shit got 12 million views. And then a whole bunch of people ran with it. If this app existed, the Creditability app, created by black folks, that black folks own. If this app existed, my mans that started that rumor, Creditability would be shot. Let's continue.
Verify, like, you know what I mean? Because I think, so for instance, like, if you're working at just in news, if you're working at an outlet, sometimes you might not get a byline, but then you go over to another platform and people get to know who you are. You might can't like check my background and know what I was doing while I was at that outlet, but what I'm doing it somewhere else now, and it's verified. Like, how would your system check that? Because how do you even look that up? Like, you call for references to the old, like, the background? Like,
well, I think sources matter, right? That's what you do in media. Journalistic integrity is looking at sources to verify things, right? So I think in lieu of having that experiences, then you'll have references, right? It's the same thing we did when you have a resume, right? Like, who is the person that referenced you that we can look back and say, okay, this person is accountable for when you mess up. So now this person is not as reliable or accountable. If Charlemagne said, look, this person is really good at their job, and then 2 weeks in they messing up, then that's gonna mess up his credibility. You feel me? I think we need to have that in this age of AI because everything is artificial, right? And people can create whatever they want to. And the age of AI is artificial intimacy, artificial intelligence, artificial information, artificial insemination, artificial ingredients. We are living in their world, a fake world, a world that they get to control and build around us, a matrix, right? We're not living in reality anymore. So we need things that can check to say, okay, what is real? Because you can't trust your own eyes, ears, and senses. And in some ways you should, because they can tell you what something means even though you've seen it with your own eyes. They can control the narratives to say maybe it's this or maybe it's that or maybe it's this. Now you don't know what to believe. So for me, I decide what's real for myself, and then I verify what's real. And most people don't know how to research, right? Because you could be living in an echo chamber to where you went and got sources of something, but those same sources are verified on each other. And this is the problem with today is there's no journalistic integrity, but everybody is a media platform, right? Like I had directed, because now we do news on a high level conversation page a lot, but now I tell him, make sure we're getting sources for everything, right? There was somebody that hit us up and said the story that we ran on them wasn't 100% true. So we went back and we corrected it. And I believe that that's the best way to do it. It's okay to be wrong, right? But correct yourself.
Yeah,
nowadays, because you can get sued.
No, he's right. It's okay to be wrong, but the problem with being wrong sometimes, which I hate, what you said about the person could have went viral a million times.
Oh yeah.
But then when you go back and say, hey, we made a mistake,
nobody ever sees the
nobody picks that up.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. But
all right, hold on. Let's stop right quick. And if y'all heard my heat in the background, apologies about that. Listen, because they finna go to another subject. And I want to say something about the thing that they said before. Like he said, man, we live in an artificial world. We living in a new age matrix. This internet shit, people, is the metaverse. So you enter the metaverse on your phone, on your computers, on your Oculus that you have. Anytime you're dealing with social media, you're entering the matrix. And a lot of folks spend a lot of time in the matrix, and we know that these people can gaslight you however they want to. The last thing I can think about some shit that motherfuckers is gaslighting people and got people in a frenzy about is men competing in women's sports. We know what we looking at. Like 19 said, you can see what you see, know what you seen, and then they can change the narrative as if it's not that. So, like I was saying, you can, a woman or a man competing in a sport, in the same sport together on some physical shit like boxing should not be a thing. But we living in this matrix to where they're gaslighting you, making it seem like it should be something that should be done. So this idea about this credibility app, man, I feel like a lot of black folks should listen to this, hear what they said, and I hope that this video gets some type of traction because this perspective might not be seen how I see it across the world. And that's why I try to make my videos on my platform. If you thinking about, well, who's going to control this? What black person is going to be the leader about this? Check this shit out.
Who make the decisions don't really care about who's most influential because they don't care about what's really happening to us. Then there's people over top of them that are Hollywood studios. Like, that's a whole nother conversation. But if you own your own platforms, you can do your own things, kind of like what Jason Lee does.
100%.
You get to pick and choose, but that goes back to, again, like the boycotting and the money, because people feel like we don't have the resources, we can't own at that level. So I think my question is like, who are the leaders and what is the solution? Because I think I always hear these conversations, but I'm always left with all these questions and no plan.
I think all the leaders are ones that's doing for self, right? Everybody that has a platform, everybody that's teaching right now and that's building. I don't want to just point out names, because you point out names, then we got this attitude, we start breaking people down.
Gotcha.
Right? What they doing perfect or not. I don't need you to be perfect to be a leader. I need you to be making progress, right? If you go look out there, and that's the whole thing about it, right? It should be easy to say, okay, well, these people have a platform. They're teaching and they're educating people. They building out sustainable models. They doing it organically, without the props, without the position, without the validation. So they're obvious the leaders. And any black man in America should see himself as a leader. This is one thing I don't like when black men say we don't have leaders. It's some sucker shit, because it's saying you not a leader. Every man is supposed to be a leader of himself and his household, right? So that means that you supposed to be self-sufficient and do for self. You supposed to execute and have the willpower to produce a plan into reality. You supposed to be able to create your own world. The solutions are there, right? Again, let's utilize blockchain. Let's build DAO systems. Let's create a digital economic infrastructure, and let's buy physical assets. Let's vote on where we want to put that money towards, and we move forward from there. We built a media platform, High Level Conversations, with my own funding. We just take the money and we reinvest in it. Nobody gave us permission because nobody needs to, right? So the solutions are looking at old systems and saying those are old models. I'm speaking to the younger generation. I'm not speaking to the old heads. The old heads, they gonna have to get out the way because they don't want to pass the torch, because they want to stay in position. So when I'm speaking, I'm always talking to the youth right now saying, listen, I represent an archetype and a model of do for self. You can do the same thing, right? Somebody don't want to put you on a platform, create your own platform. What we have to do is start respecting those platforms.
If don't nobody want to put you on a platform or allow you to have a word about anything, create your own platform. And that's what the fuck YouTube is. That's what TikTok is. That's what Instagram is. That's what I'm doing right now. Like I said, folks, we need to come together and start investing into this app. And black people can have an asset that would be beneficial to our race that we can say that we own, because it's a problem out there. Therefore, it's something that's worth being created to fix that problem. I'm your boy Common Sense, man. Like the video, because liking the video is more important to the YouTube algorithm these days. Subscribe to the boy if you felt the content. I'm doing what I always do, and I'm signing off. Peace.